Tonight is the 21st day of Nisan. In Israel, the last day of Pesach, and here in the diaspora, the first of the last 2 days of Pesach. But the 21st of Nisan is also the date where, according to tradition, the Jewish people crossed the Red Sea as they were leaving Egypt. Moshe Rabbeinu assured them that they had no reason to fear, that God would take care of them. But then HaKadosh Baruch Hu responded with the words, Matitzak elai daber el bnei Yisrael vayisau. Why do you cry out to me? Speak to the Jewish people so that they should journey. Which Rashi explains means that Moshe Rabbeinu apparently was praying to God at that very moment. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, now is not the time for prayer because the Jewish people are in crisis. Go, enter into the sea. But it seems to be a very strange response to it by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Isn't the perfect time to pray when there is a crisis? The Sforno suggests a very creative explanation for why Moshe Rabbeinu prayed and why HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him to stop praying. He writes that Moshe was praying on behalf of the people because he was afraid that they would refuse to enter into the sea. The Torah says earlier that the people had turned to Moshe and said, Hamibli Kfarim, are there no graves in Egypt that you took us out to die in the desert? What have you done to us? Leave us alone. We'll go back. It was better there than dying in the desert. Seeing the lack of faith, Moshe Rabbeinu assumed that now, even though he was assured, and even though he tried to assure them, they would not be willing to place their trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. God responded to Moshe Rabbeinu that he was wrong in this assessment of his people. According to the Sforno, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Daber el bnei Yisrael vayisau, it means not that he should speak to the Jews that they should travel, but rather command the Jews, and they will travel through the sea. Here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was guaranteeing to Moshe that he was wrong, that Bnei Israel will obey the command, and he will be able to save the Jews by the splitting of the sea. Sforno's interpretation of this pasuk teaches us the need sometimes to pause before rushing to conclusions about other people, and specifically not to judge people based on what they may say in moments of fear and crisis. Bnei Israel had said things that were inappropriate. They did suggest that the entire Exodus may have been a mistake, but they did so because they were afraid. Their outburst didn't mean that they had lost faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It simply meant that they couldn't handle that crisis of that moment. So too, when we hear people saying things that seem outlandish, seem wrong, we should be very careful before passing judgment and continue giving the benefit of the doubt to the people. Daber el bnei Yisrael vayisau. Speak to the Jewish people because they will listen and they will travel. The splitting of the Red Sea, the miracle that we'll remember tomorrow in the Kriyat Torah, was a miracle not just of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's power in this earth, but also of our people's willingness to be able to follow HaKadosh Baruch Hu's commands.